I've been like bedridden for 3 days, Monday through Wednesday. Ever since that Eagles win, I don't think it's a coincidence. I've been bad, sick as a dog.
Is this recording?
Are we recording?
Are we recording?
Are we recording? Are we recording?
What? Hey, we're back. It's another episode of the Are We Recording podcast. I'm 007, Gage Sutton, with the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton. It's the dopest podcast on Earth, okay? And we thank you so much for clicking on this video. And hey, if you have been with the Are We Recording crew for a while, you know what we're about. We're here to talk about the Super Bowl. We're here to talk about the Kendrick halftime show. And we'll touch into some more music stuff. Maybe we'll talk about one of the internet's funniest crash outs. All of that and more on this episode. So before we do anything else, make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you share it with a lover.
Share it with a friend.
Yeah.
Share it with your folks, man. This can be a family show at times. I mean, yeah, we curse like sailors, but so what, bro? We'll be all right. You'll be all right.
It's all in good fun. But if you do enjoy all the content, we are also on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, Are We Recording, or at AWR Podcast. So go check us out. But we got a lot to talk about, man, because we got our Super Bowl recap. And you want to start by talking about the game? Or do you want to start with the Kendrick performance? Because I feel like those are the two, obviously, major things that we need to talk about. Because we talked about Kendrick Drake beef all throughout this channel. If you haven't seen those videos, definitely go check them out. A lot of fun during the rap beef of 2024. And then obviously our NFL picks. So if you're an NFL fan, go check out all of our Super Bowl predictions, our divisional round. All of that stuff is really fun, even in hindsight. So
yeah. But, no, it's good for posterity too. You saw us do a full, basically damn near coverage of the entire season on a week by week basis for the most part. And I think that's something we're definitely going to do next NFL season. We're going to try to bring someone of our creative friends on every single episode just to spice it up. And closer to the draft in April, we might do a couple of draft videos here and there just to get people excited, get you guys into the know of who's prospects. Don't get me wrong, we're not no Todd McShay or Adam Schefter, but we definitely going to bring some good coverage to that. But I think we should start with what's making me physically ill the entire week. Because, Gage, as you know, I've been like bedridden for 3 days, Monday through Wednesday. Ever since that Eagles win, I don't think it's a coincidence. I've been bad, sick as a dog. I couldn't get up. My head was hurting. My throat was hurting. My chest was in pain. I was like, I can't live with this. I had to see a Jalen Hurts MVP. Oh, my goodness. I was not prepared for that. I was not. And I got to give credit where credit is due. You and Jordan picked the Eagles to win this game. And I decided to ride with my Kansas City Chiefs. And though I don't regret it, damn, it bit me in the ass, man. It really did.
Well, that's the thing, bro, is props to the Chiefs for even making it to this point. Three-peating is insanely hard in any sport, but in football, to maintain that level of continuity on a 53-man roster for 3 straight years and also be competitive enough to win a Super Bowl, beat the other best team in the league 3 straight years in a row, and obviously beating a path of teams in the playoffs. It's hard. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. So I got to give the Chiefs credit on that, even though they didn't play their best game. The fact that they were there, I mean, also, I want to say the game shut up all narratives that the Chiefs are helped by the refs. Can we agree there? Yeah. That's the one thing that I loved to see. Like, as much as I like the Chiefs, I like Patrick Mahomes, I was getting really tired of that narrative and seeing it kind of maybe not shut the door finally on it, because I feel like people are still going to be talking about it next season. But this kind of, for me, is like, we can look back at this game and say there were a lot of calls that didn't go Kansas City's way. But in a lot of the situations where it did go their way, it's the same thing for what the other team had to do. Just keep playing better than the other team. And that's exactly what Philly did. They were outclassing Kansas City on both sides of the ball. And I mean, the score reflected it, bro. I don't think Patrick Mahomes they didn't score their first touchdown until the second half.
Yeah, bro, like the end of the third quarter. Dog, they were so like outmatched and outgunned. I gotta give credit where credit is due. I know I said this. This is a more dominant win. This might be the most dominant Super Bowl win I've ever seen. This is more dominant than what Seattle did to the Broncos. This is more dominant than what I
What the
saw
Broncos did to the Panthers.
what the Broncos did to the Panthers, what the Bucks did to the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs had no breathing room for about 3/4 when the game was done. Fourth quarter, when the Eagles are basically putting their celebratory hats on and T-shirts, was when the Chiefs started doing some shit. And I find it really interesting. I think the first like 3 or 4 drives, I think the Chiefs only ran the ball one time. And I think they played right into Philly's hands. The fact that Philly was able to rush 4 and basically have everybody in coverage. I've never seen Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes look the way that they did.
Yeah, they both look flustered, like they just did not know what they were doing. And again, that's a credit to Philly's defense, bro. They were rushing 4 all night and getting pressure. They were getting sacks. They were making Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable. And with all those guys in coverage, it was just bound to happen, man. And what's crazy about this Philly win is that Saquon didn't even play all that great. Like Kansas City's defense did a good job of containing his rushing attack.
Dog,
And
he didn't. They did a great job. That's the whole time. The whole first half, I'm like, okay, they got Saquon contained, and the score kept going up. Pat Mahomes did 2 of. Can we just like? I don't think the GOAT debate is over, right? With Pat Mahomes, I think he got plenty of time to catch Brady, but that was easily the worst game of Pat Mahomes' career. Easily, I always say that his AFC Championship game where he choked against the Cincinnati Bengals at home was the worst game. This beat it. This beat it. He was awful this game. Both interceptions. He doesn't see Cooper DeJean standing in white CB1. He don't see him standing in the middle of the field. It blows my mind. Then when the defense finally gets you a stop, right? Yeah, it's 17-0, but cool. You got about a minute and a half left. You're gonna get the ball coming out of half. All you have to do, I say all you have to do, like it's easier said than done. You got a minute and a half. Go down the field, get some points. You're gonna get the ball coming out the half, and it's still a ball game. Brother, you're in the 10-yard line and you throw an interception.
Yeah.
To Zach Vaughn. The game was done there. I remember sitting in the living room with my family. I was like, oh, that's ball game. The minute he threw that pick, I knew it was over. That was just such a terrible game by him, man. 15, man. I trusted you and you let me down that day. Oof.
Hey, we did see history though. A cornerback, I think the first ever white cornerback to score a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. So
on Black History Month too.
In Black History Month is insane.
Oh, brother, we're cooked. We're so cooked.
Yeah,
we're so good.
Hey, but this leads me to the main point about this and why. I think I'm going to take a little victory lap for this Eagles Super Bowl is because a lot of the naysayers said that in order for the Eagles to win this game, they were going to need Jalen Hurts to play well. And yes, he got some help from the defense, but Jalen made throws when it mattered. He made some beautiful throws to Devonta Smith, to A.J. Brown. I think he had one to who they just trade for this offseason?
Jahan
Dotson. He had one to Dotson.
Irony, right? I've been kicking their back in for doing that trade for Dotson.
I was actually about to text you when that happened. I was about to say, like, that is so crazy. We had been talking about, man, he hadn't made an impact all year after they traded for him. Relatively high pick a couple years back. And hey, look at that. Makes a huge play on the biggest stage. But listen, my whole agenda with Jalen Hurts was just to get some respect on his name. I'm not here to spread an agenda that he's a top 5 quarterback or that he's more talented than Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. We all know that's not true. But when push comes to shove and you need Jalen to give you good or average to good or great quarterback play, he is that. He to me doesn't give you that many just horrible performances that you can't overcome it, you know? So I just want people to put respect on Jalen Hurts' name. I think he is a top 15 quarterback. And if you don't think he's a top 15 quarterback, look at the resumes and look at what he has done for team success. And again, he's going to benefit a little bit from being with the Philadelphia Eagles organization. But again, Carson Wentz couldn't do it. He was an MVP candidate, and I think only had 1 or 2 winning seasons and then kind of fell off a bridge. That's not what we've seen from Jalen. And I don't think we're going to see that from Jalen.
I got to eat a little bit of humble pie as well with Jalen. I've been one of Jalen Hurts' biggest haters. Still am. That won't change. But he balled out. Don't get me wrong. That interception he threw was terrible. But when you threw for, how much did he throw for? 300-something yards?
Something like that, yeah. That's Cox sources.
Cox sources. When he threw for how many yards he did, he threw for 221, only had 5 incompletions, ran for another 72 with a touchdown. So basically, more or less, he gave you like 290 yards with 3 touchdowns and an interception. That's pretty good ball right there. Especially Pat Mahomes playing how bad he did. He played better than Pat Mahomes on that day. And not many quarterbacks can say that, especially come playoff time. And I got to give credit where credit's due. And I'm going to take it a step further. I think Jalen Hurts is cementing himself as a top 10 quarterback. Because I'm with you. I got to be consistent in my argument.
Hold on. I never would have thought I would hear those words from you. I'm actually going to clip this, and this is going to be one of the clips that we use on Instagram.
Oh my gosh! Enough.
This is my victory lap.
No, for sure. And as a former Cowboys fan, this makes me sick. Because he balled out. He balled out in that game. Pretty much, minus that interception, the entire game he balled out. And this wasn't a situation like last Super Bowl where his fumble directly resulted in 7 points and them losing that ball game. The interception had no bearing. Yes, because the defense was so elite. I probably put it on the best defensive performance I've ever seen any defense do in a Super Bowl. But he did his job when it mattered the most. And I got to give credit where credit's due. Because you have some quarterbacks like What If Man and others that come playoff time or come any semblance of any important game, they are MIA.
Okay.
And Jalen Hurts, at the very least, he's shown that he is a body. Even though he might not have the physical traits as far as throwing the football that other quarterbacks have, I feel like as far as intangibles, as far as his rushing ability, as far as just being an overall gamer, making the right plays towards the end of the game, he has that. He really has that. And so he is a top 10 quarterback for me.
Wow. This is a big moment for me. And I think for anyone who watches the podcast, you know how big of a monumental moment this is for the pod, because and we've had a lot of people on this podcast who were not Jalen Hurts supporters, including my brother Dylan, who is still on the train. Even after they won the Super Bowl, he sends me a list and sends me a list of 17 quarterbacks he thinks.
No, he sent me that list too, and I would spend a ride with him. But some of those names, like he was talking about Drake May is better than him. I said,
oh my God. Caleb Williams,
who did not have that good of a season, not one bit. Who else did he say on that list?
Does he have more potential than Jalen? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and obviously say he doesn't. He was the number 1 overall pick, a generational talent. But let's go off of this year.
But then again, even if you do the potential thing, Jalen Hurts, how many people can say they were an MVP runner-up and a Super Bowl MVP and an NFL champion?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't know if Caleb Williams hits any of those 3 in his career.
And the thing is, it's getting real scary because the problem is now there aren't a lot of other quarterbacks who have anything to their resumes. Because like Allen hasn't won a Super Bowl, Lamar hasn't won a Super Bowl, Burrow hasn't won a Super Bowl. So like we look at these names and we're like, well, Jalen has won a Super Bowl.
And he got a Super Bowl MVP.
And a Super Bowl MVP. I'm not the kind of person to say, oh, well, that automatically makes him a better player than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. But we kind of have to start having these conversations about kind of the guys who were in that middling. Like you said, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, CJ Stroud.
I think he's in that tier.
Yeah, dude. He's like, if anything, he's probably at the top of that tier now because he's won a Super Bowl. That's something none of those guys have even gotten to a Super Bowl. So
I disagree that he's on top of that list, but I cannot. What he showed me that game and really this season, especially from that turning point, especially with the drama between AJ Brown and him, him and Nick Sirianni were able to ride that ship and really set the tone for that second half. Regardless of, I think, Saquon and that defense are the driving factors, credit where credit is due. I think he's definitely in that tier, like we said, with Dak Prescott, with CJ Stroud, with Jordan Love, with Justin Herbert, who's for me at the bottom of that list without having any playoff success.
Jared Goff. And people were mad. People would have been mad at me earlier in the season when I said that I would have rather had Jalen Hurts than Jared Goff. But Jalen Hurts has now won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and
Jalen Hurts made the plays when it mattered the most. That was my biggest problem with Jared Goff. Jalen Hurts did it. So, I don't know. That's my argument, but
I feel you. Like I said, for it being a boring game, I think the most exciting part of the whole spectacle, at least for me, was Kendrick's halftime show. And I know it's being received with a lot of mixed reactions, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on what you felt about Kendrick's performance, because earlier in the week, Academics showed a leaked set list that I think a lot of people didn't think it was real, mainly to do with the fact that it contained like the bodies leak from not leak, but the bodies snippet from the GNX preview, and then from there it went straight to certain songs like Squabble Up, Humble, so on and such forth. But turns out that entire set list was real. Kendrick and his team didn't change anything of it. So what was your reaction to the performance?
I loved it personally. I think even though a lot of people I'm seeing on the internet are complaining that he didn't do a few of his bigger songs, but realistically, I think the ones that like he did were good for the show, the kind of show that the Super Bowl is. And again, this is coming from a hip hop fan. I would have loved to hear Money Trees. I would have loved to hear Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, Mad City. I don't know, just something from the older era of Kendrick. But that's just not the reality. A lot of that stuff probably just wouldn't translate well to the big stage on the Super Bowl. And also, I think with like Apple being involved, they also want to push and promote GNX as much as they can. Rightfully so. It's a great album as well. So, but I think the important thing is here, and Ethan, you know this as well as anybody else, and if you're a Kendrick fan, you've known this for years. He is so intentional with his performances that like the whole performance was a message, and that it's really brilliant the way he was able to choreograph everything, and having Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam, the representation of Uncle Sam in his album To Pimp a Butterfly too, I think is just it's just beautiful imagery, man. Kendrick does it again, and I really don't have any complaints about this besides the fact that like people are going to say the track listing, but again, I think given the situation, Kendrick did amazing, man. He had the SZA performance. She did awesome. Shout out to SZA too, man. She looked great out there.
Red is my favorite color. Red is my favorite color now.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. But yeah, dude, I'm very, very happy. I personally don't get all the hate that it's receiving. And I mean, I know where it's coming from on one side, but on the other side, I'm like, why? Like, why are people hating on this? Because he put a lot of effort into it, a lot of effort into the production value, I would say. So, yeah, man, I was really pleased with Kendrick's
1 out of 10. What do you give it?
I'd probably give it. It wasn't my all-time favorite, but I'd say like a solid 8.5, or like 8.5, 9. That's kind of what I'm feeling.
I'm right there with you. My reaction to it was, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I thought the spectacle of it. I thought the choreography was amazing. That Gloria jacket that he had on, the blue with the bell bottoms, hard. That fit was hard. I like, people don't understand how impressive that breath control that he displayed. Dog, he was running from the 50-yard line to the end zone, damn near rapping the entire thing of not even people. What was it? Not Like Us.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hard that is? You know how good of a breath control you have? And right before that, he had to do Man of the Garden, damn near rap the whole second verse of it. Drenched in sweat, tired than a motherfucker. Like, that's impressive. That's hip hop. I love that portion of it. For me, my highlight was it. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I love Peekaboo. I didn't think I'd like to see Peekaboo on the Super Bowl stage, but I liked it. The whole camera work, you had the dancers, you had the whole setup of it being a PlayStation controller. And then to do Man of the Garden kind of acapella doo-wop style, loved it. I'm in the same boat as you. I would have loved to hear some Money Trees. I thought we for sure was gonna hear All Right. But I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it because I feel like Kendrick gave us something different in a Super Bowl halftime show than other halftime shows have given us in the past, especially with other halftime. Because let's think about it, right? With a lot of Super Bowl halftime shows, we just get them to play a medley of their greatest hits. You have some pyro here, some pyro there. You have a special guest come out right over here, and you have a little dance number. And I feel like Kendrick took this opportunity to really showcase his storytelling ability that those in hip hop know that he has, but maybe the masses might not be familiar with. So to have everybody hop out the GNX truck, which I thought was fire, then to have everybody kind of line up similarly in the American flag and him in between, I thought it was fire. Again, Man at the Garden, acapella. I don't think it's a coincidence that Samuel L. Jackson then came out after that after that part and then goes like, you and your friends deduct one life. Seeing the different symbolism and imagery throughout the performance, I loved it. That is Kendrick Lamar. And I would have loved to him play the hits, but I don't blame people for not necessarily being upset, but I don't blame people for wanting to see those. Like, yes, Kendrick, we want to see your most played songs. I'm not in the boat that I thought that SZA should have got more time because she got 2 songs.
I think it was perfect. Yeah, it was
perfect.
It's not her show. It's Kendrick's show.
Yeah, it's Kendrick's show. She smoked her bid in Luther. She smoked
all the stars.
Like, I'm not mad at her for that. I'm not mad at her one bit. Like, she did it great. We got Serena showing out and Not Like Us. And the way he was able to tease Not Like Us throughout, I loved it. Especially with the not necessarily the dance break, but with the conversations with the dancers, as well as Samuel L. Jackson chiming in throughout. The way he did Not Like Us made it chef's kiss. But I would have loved to have seen other songs. But honestly, if hindsight's 2020, when he was doing that Apple TV interview that I was talking about last week, he talked about staying in the present and really living in the moment with the music that he has now. And especially if the rumors are true that he owns a lot of the music that comes with GNX, in comparison to him not really owning too much of Good Kid and To Pimp a Butterfly and so on and such forth. I get why he wants to just do that shit. Bro, I'm getting paid off this. You saw GNX is back to being number 1 on charts, Billboard charts of album of the week. I think it got another 217 first week sales, which is crazy for an album that came out in November. That Super Bowl Apple stimulus check, it came in. It definitely came in. But I love the performance. I really did. But honestly, let's talk a little bit about the hate that the show has been receiving. I guess from 2 parts. What have you noticed?
I mean, a lot of the people that I'm seeing are upset about the conscious message that Kendrick is doing of like, oh, why do you have to do it on a stage like the Super Bowl? And if you're lighter complected like me, I'll tell you, get your head out of your ass, right? Because it's just like what? And if personally, if you're someone who's Black too watching that, I think, and saying that, oh, Kendrick shouldn't be doing that, I don't get it, because for me, hip hop has always been criticized, has always been looked down on, has always been I don't know, there's just so many things that mainstream culture doesn't see with hip hop. And finally, you get someone who embodies everything that the great things about hip hop, the lyricism, the insight, the storytelling, the just awesome like ad libs and all the great things that we love about hip hop, we have with Kendrick. And one of the great things about him is that he can also, give out a message while he's making amazing music. So when you're putting him on a biggest stage like this and you're giving him an opportunity to spread a message, actually talk his shit, I just don't get it. Like, why don't you want to support this? He's trying to fight for hip hop. He's trying to make it mainstream, trying to make it, I don't know, like more appealable to everyone, because it shouldn't be. I don't know. Like,
I'm
I
gonna
know
push back on you a little
he was
bit.
trying to ruffle feathers. I get it, but like,
And he definitely
I
succeeded
think,
in that. But I'm
yeah,
gonna push back with you a little bit, right? When you speaking about like why you might not understand like why people of color are upset that maybe he didn't perform the hits. I get it, because I see a lot of the sentiment too is that like, oh, Kendrick, this performance was revolutionary. This is da 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 da. It was not that. Again, he was on a platform like the NFL, who we know their stance, especially when it comes to people of color in America. And when
yeah,
it
but
comes to his performance, like there's nothing revolutionary about it. Yes, the storytelling was amazing, and I get how some people, some very strong-willed, the people that are versed in this subject, why they might not appreciate or they don't appreciate the fact that this is being lumped in with revolutionary, and I agree with them 1,000%. But at the same time, I think people need to understand time and a place. The role of Kendrick is an artist and not an activist, and that's why I try to preach to people when it comes to these celebrities is like, don't put them in boxes they shouldn't be. Like, Kendrick Lamar is a great artist, but I also don't consider him a revolutionary for myriad of reasons, right? And I feel like people shouldn't also at the same time, people shouldn't put that on him if he doesn't want that. And so that's where I agree with both sides. But at the same time, I get why people I'm with you on this, right? This is who
But
Kendrick
like,
Lamar is.
so
Mhm.
this is the thing for me, bro, is like, I don't even think it comes down to like the activism part of just like, just the message that he's trying to put out. Like, thinking about the main, or one of the main themes of his performance was the video games and Game Over or whatever. It's Kendrick playing the game for the labels, for the music industry, for the white executives who got him into the Super Bowl halftime show. He's playing the game, and part of playing the game is doing like not ruffling any feathers and not doing any of the crazy shit that maybe would have gotten Kendrick way more viral. But
Mhm.
Kendrick ultimately did what he wanted to do, and that's what speaks to me personally, of just like, Kendrick didn't give a fuck what people were gonna think. He still had his message in there, um, and I think that's ultimately what it boils down to. Of like, we know Kendrick's not just gonna go up there and do his greatest hits. You know that everything he does is intentional. It comes with thought behind it. So I don't know why people would have thought Kendrick would have just gone on stage and done that. He's not that kind of artist.
I'm
Like,
with you, but at the same time, there's an expectation of like that's what the artists that are showing up to the Super Bowl are there to do. And my rebuttal to that is then the performance just wasn't for you. I don't mean the performance was trash. It just wasn't for you. Like
yeah,
if you
I guess
wanted
so.
Kendrick to go up there and do his greatest hits, like I think like me and you were talking about it. We were in a little bit in that camp, not all the way, but we would have wanted to hear Money Trees. We wanted to hear All Right. Shit, we would have maybe even took some Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. I definitely thought we were gonna hear Mad City, but we didn't. And I'm
Yeah.
not particularly upset about it, but because I'm a Kendrick fan. You're a Kendrick fan.
Cartoons and cereal.
Cartoons and Stairs, right? I would have loved to hear that. We never hearing that. But people that aren't
Never.
Kendrick Lamar fans, I get why they might be upset. But then again, it's all right. I don't see the NFL having too much more. I wouldn't want to say black artists, but hip hop or R&B related artists anymore. I feel like they're a good little switch back to the rock bands and the country artists are coming very soon.
Yeah,
And it makes
watch
me
out.
think,
Hey, we got Billy Joel headlining
yeah, and
2026 Super Bowl. Probably
next
coming
year,
soon.
actually, let's talk about it before we wrap this subject up. Who do you think is gonna the host the Super Bowl next year? Because let me get real quick.
What
Uh,
city's hosting it?
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Even though that has nothing to do with this, like many years have told us where the Super Bowl is. Yeah, next year is gonna be in Santa Clara, so it's gonna be at the Niner Stadium.
Okay.
So if I had, it's gonna be in Cali. So if I had to guess who I think next year is going to be, I
Is this
feel
the Taylor
like
Swift year? Is
I
this
don't
the
know if
year
it's
they
Taylor Swift.
capitalize on it?
I don't know if it's Taylor Swift because I think Taylor is obviously the biggest artist in the world that hasn't done it yet. Um, Drake probably won't do the Super Bowl, especially
He
after
won't.
this. He's not. He wouldn't want to. Hey, my guess is sleeper pick. I think Post Malone does it.
Ooh, okay. Honestly,
Grapevine's very own. Even though I'm not the biggest Post Malone fan, I think Post Malone does it. Because if I think about nostalgia acts and just acts in their prime, Taylor, I think she's avoiding doing it, especially with her and Travis Kelce being in their relationship. I don't think I think she's conscious enough to realize that the way it might look if she performs, and let's say the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, Black Magic, yeah.
Yeah, I think she might wait if she's still together with Travis, wait after he retires. But at the same time, I look at other artists like Billie Eilish. I don't think she has the catalog yet to do a Super Bowl. She is big enough, but as far as like a catalog, I don't think so. I might be maybe Travis Scott if they want to stick with hip hop. Travis Scott definitely has the songs, and he can definitely bring out some acts. But I think after this Super Bowl, I think they might need a little bit of a break from hip hop the way it looks. So I could see someone like Post Malone doing it. Very safe, especially with the Caucasian masses. He has the hits. He's culture
he can bring out a
vulture.
bunch. Yeah, he's gonna bring out a bunch of country artists or hip hop artists. Like he can bring everybody in. It's like a Post Malone and Friends concert.
Yeah, the whites are gonna love him because like, oh, that's Post Malone, and most of the blacks will be like, oh, I guess Post Malone's cool. He has some hip hop songs, even though I don't like Post Malone. Yeah, but Post Malone is my guess.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not the. I do like some of Post Malone's music, and I wouldn't be mad to see him on a big stage like that. I think it would just again appease a lot of people, and yeah, I guess just give you a little more variety too. Because I mean, he does have the hip hop, he does have the country. Might see, more variety of guests, but that's a good one. Yeah, I can't really think of anyone else like super big named that hasn't done it. I guess is willing to is another question, but
no,
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what bands and artists they look at moving forward. So
for sure.
Maybe do you think there's any chance that like they do repeat performances, that someone comes back and does a second Super Bowl performance?
No, I don't think so. Because you think about the artists they mentioned, like maybe The Weeknd, because his was during COVID. Even though I thought his performance was well, considering the fact that he had to navigate all that. But
yeah,
nah, I don't think so. I think they're gonna keep the tradition going with somebody new.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to find out. But I think it's time for us to move on to our favorite segment of the Are We Recording podcast, and that, of course, is
Put you on. Yeah. This is our favorite part of the show where we put you guys on to some music, some TV that we've been watching this past week. And before we do so, please make sure to hit a like on this video, comment, let us know what you thought so far about the Super Bowl halftime show and the Super Bowl performance in general. Like, are you happy the Eagles won? Are you sad the Chiefs won? Let us know in the comments down below. And subscribe as well. But Gage, for I guess put you on, I think this week let's start with music. Last week we started with TV. And for put you on, I don't really like cover songs that much, but Jordan Ward just dropped a cover for Bob Marley song, one of my favorite Bob Marley songs, Waiting in Vain.
Oh,
absolutely
wow.
Fire. Absolutely fire. I've been bumping it pretty much all day because we're recording this on a Saturday, so all day Friday, and this morning I woke up to it. So great song. Waiting in Vain, Jordan Ward cover of Bob Marley. Smokes that shit.
I'll have to check it out because I love Daniel Caesar's cover that he did.
Daniel Caesar, that last year he smoked that shit.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear Jordan Ward. I think he's super talented too. So I fuck with the E. I like it, man. All right, I kind of got two because I have a buddy of ours that I want to shout out and give him a moment to shine on our podcast.
Come on.
All right, so I think it's like a kind of duo put you on. I'm sure you could say for us because I want to shout out our friend Deshaun and Heart, the Food Pack EP, man. I tapped in, listened to what Deshaun's saying on this, and man, he was cooking. He was cooking off my plate, sugar and spices. He's got some really, really good stuff in there. If you're a fan of lyrical hip hop, man, and he's one of our KTSW buddies. So
friend of the show.
Friend of the show, been on the pod. So we want to show him love, give him some support. So go check out The Food Pack by Da Heart. That's D-A Heart, H-A-R-T. And Deshaun, if you're watching this, bro, good luck, man.
Yes, sir. Come on, tap in. You already know Deshaun. That's a great put you on. I did see that he dropped a project. I haven't got I have it downloaded and everything. I just have not gotten a chance to listen to it yet, but I'm definitely gonna tap in.
It's cool, man. Very cool. But all right, so I think my put you on. There's a album that dropped on Valentine's Day, and I know what you're thinking. Drake and PARTYNEXTDOOR is your put you on? No, unfortunately for the Drizzy fans out there, no. It is an album called Love Jones by They, and if you know me or have been watching the channel for a while, I've talked about They a few times. It's an R&B duo, and they make just really, really dope music. This is a perfect Valentine's Day album, in my opinion. It's just so vibey, so cool. Just throw it on in the car when you're going on a date with your girl, or it's a really nice listen, man. Highly recommend. It's They. Put it up on the screen, and yeah, man.
Good little put you on. As far as TV and music, hopefully I'm stealing yours. I think we might be saying the same thing. But season 3 of Invincible just dropped.
Oh, dude!
And we're 4 episodes deep, and dog, they starting off right where they left off. I think we're about to enter the Invincible War because they do the because I've read the comics for it, so they do the whole multiversal aspect of the show great. But season 3 of Invincible's out now on Amazon Prime. That's my put you on as far as TV and movies go.
Oh man, yeah. You kind of just dunked on me with that one, because I did bring Invincible too. I haven't started the new season, but very excited to see what's going on. Okay, I think since you did a TV show, I'll do a movie, and this is a very well-known movie, but I was just watching it for the first time, and now it's available to larger audiences on Netflix. Highly recommend the movie Whiplash if you have not seen it. With J.K. Simmons, I just watched it for the first time, man, and
really?
Yeah, dude, it was very cool. Very, I just like the ending and how it kind of leaves me like satisfied that he kind of got his moment, but like it leaves you with like, is this exactly the most healthiest relationship? Like, is this a healthy coaching style? Just kind of leaves you with those questions. So I definitely suggest checking it out if you have not seen it like me, because now it's available on Netflix. Yeah, definitely one of the best movies I've seen personally. I think I'd have to put it up there, just like in terms of a actual film. Very well made too. Sound design, shots, everything.
Smooth. I have seen Whiplash a long time ago. I haven't seen it in a minute. But it was a great movie from what I remember. But that'll be our put you on for the week. If you like those picks, let us know in the comments down below. What did some of y'all's put you on? Maybe you put me and Gage on to some new music, some new TV shows. Let us know in the comments down below. But Gage, I know you spoke about it already. Valentine's Day was yesterday, and we got a new Drake drop. First Drake project post beef. I know we got some features here and there on Camila Cabello's project and Gordo's.
Ethan, can I shut something up real quick? Because I saw something on Twitter that was just so disrespectful.
Come on.
I saw someone ask the question, who had the better post beef album drop? And you know what?
Let's get into the album. I'm not even trying to compare that shit to GNX right now. Let's talk about this project first.
Go ahead.
Because Aubrey's Angels at Attorneys at Law, they're gonna be blowing this shit up. So let's relax. Calma. Let's lock in here.
Right.
Yeah, let's lock in here. I've gotten a chance to listen to this project around 2 or 3 times. And I think it's cool. If anything, it's more Drake featuring Party. I would have loved to hear Party a lot more. It's similar to how I felt with Vultures, with Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign, not Ty Dolla $ign. In this project, it's similar. I don't think it's enough Party. Drake's very much in his slow Toronto R&B bag, which I appreciate. But I don't know if I want 21 tracks of it. I'm gonna be honest. I know the type of magic these two can produce, especially when they've done it in the past on projects like If You're Reading This Too Late. And I think the first party album, P1 or P2, these two can make some magic together. And I don't think there's enough of it on this project. I think if this album was maybe 12 or 13 tracks, maybe it'd be a lot more digestible. And this album probably should have came out 10 years ago. It's a little 10 years too late between Drake and Party. I feel like this sound is kind of passed them both by. Even though this is very much Toronto R&B, it's very much Party. I prefer Party's last album to this. I prefer Drake's last album to this, and I wasn't even the biggest fan of For All the Dogs. I don't go in here with the highest of expectations. My favorite tracks, though, because I don't want to make it come across as I'm just shitting on the whole project, but Deeper, great party track. What was the other? Because I thought like 2 or 3 joints I really, really fucked with on here. Deeper, I loved. Give Me a Hug. Drake smoked that shit. The first beat, smoked that shit. Give Me a Hug is probably the best track off of there. I really, really liked Somebody Loves Me. Those 3 tracks, I enjoyed a lot. The rest, I don't know. Maybe I gotta listen to some more, see if there's some other tracks that I enjoy. But those 3 are definitely the standouts for me.
All right. Well, let me tell you how I feel about it, man. Because this album, I had kind of low expectations going into it, but there was a little bit of excitement of like, okay, Drake's dropping on Valentine's Day with Party Next Door. And I was like, maybe Drake can really recover from this beef with a good album. I don't think this is the case at all, man. There's just a lot of the things that you said are just right for me. It's too late for this album to come out, especially in like this point in their careers. If they would have dropped this earlier, when Party was at the top of his game, when Drake before all of this shit, this would be everywhere. Because musically, it's not horrible. It's like you said, that Toronto R&B vibe, and I'll tell you, I got 14 tracks deep, before I stopped listening to it. And you know what song made me turn it off?
Let me guess. Hold up. I already know.
You already know.
Let me guess. I already know. Was it Meet Your Padre? This
is the next one.
You didn't like Nokia?
That's the one where he's singing in Spanish, right?
No, Meet Your Padre is where
that's Meet Your Padre. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah, that's the one then. Yeah.
I hated that song.
Bro, never let Drake ever touch the Spanish language ever again. Please stop. I'm so tired of it, man. He's just it's so bad, dude.
I was out there when you said Nokia. I left Nokia off when I was saying my favorite songs off the album. But Nokia is pretty good. But I thought you were gonna say, Meet Your Padre. I didn't like that.
Sorry, yeah, I got to Meet Your Padre and went skip. We're going right to Nokia. As soon as I heard Drake sing in Spanish, I was like, I do not need to hear any more of this. Yeah, and then so this is the thing about Give Me a Hug too, is I thought the production was awesome. I thought Drake was doing his thing, flowing, but this is the first thing we've kind of heard him say, referring to the beef, I guess. And he kind of just said, like, I'm off of rap beef. I'm just worried about making bangers, worried about being in the club, doing all these things. And to me, it's just like, you're proving Kendrick's point. Everything you're doing on this album is just continuing to prove Kendrick's point.
But see, I'm not trying to be on that type of. I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to keep this separate from the beef.
No, I get it. I know. But like,
they're both superstars before the beef. I'm trying not to do that, Gage.
But why is he mentioning this on a Valentine's Day album? Keep this shit completely separate. If this is sexy songs for you, I don't want to hear anything about Kendrick. This is supposed to repair his image. And for me, if this was just 12 tracks, pick the 12 best tracks off this with Party and Drake on here with more central themes about love. We're talking about one of Drake's better albums in the last 5 years, but it's not. It's not that.
See, you're gonna make me sound like Aubrey's Angels right now. I think it's fine for him to reference the beef. I think it's fine. It happened, right? I have more so problems with him shooting at other artists, especially when Kendrick continues to take shots at him. But I don't even think that's the case here. I think you need to cut Aubrey some slack, man. Like, you need to cut
I've cut him too much slack, man. I've cut him too much slack.
Because I just don't think this is for us.
Mediocre album after mediocre album for me.
But I think Drake fans are happy with this. Drake fans are happy with this. I'm saying it like I'm not a Drake fan. Like, I think Project is cool. Like I said, I got my 3 or 4 songs. My expectation for Drake Project has definitely lowered through the years. Like, but at the same time, it's not a bad album. It's really not for me. It's really not. But to constantly bring it back to the beef, like, see, this is why I'm with Aubrey's Angels. I'm not trying to put them they're gonna be together now for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
You can't mention one without the other. That's what I'm like, to even compare this to a project like GNX when they're not even the same genre is not fair.
And okay, so see, that's what I was gonna say. To cut Drake some slack of like comparing these albums is not fair because they're completely different albums. But again, it's just, to me, the quality of it. Like, I know this isn't a horrible album. Like I said, I got 13 tracks deep before I was like, I can't listen to it anymore. But it's just, we know what Drake can do. We've seen him do better. We've seen him put more work into his music. And to me, I'm still just not seeing that. And again, I've defended Drake. I like a lot of Drake music. So I hope that people watch this and are like, oh, this guy's just Kendrick dick riding. I like both of them. I wanted Drake to pop back and get back into the beef, but we know his track history, and it's just not very good recently. So that's the way I feel about the Drake album personally. And Party, I've been on the.
It's not all Party's not for
Party. It's not his.
Party's not for everybody, but at the same time, I understand people that like don't were excited for this because Party's not for everybody, right? I'm not even the biggest PARTYNEXTDOOR fan, but I loved P4 that just came out last year. I put in my albums of the year. I love P4.
Yeah,
but this don't even compare to it. Like, it's like I said, it's really just Drake featuring Party, and I don't know, it's cool. I got my 3 or 4 tracks, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not really gonna try to compare it to Kendrick's project.
Well,
even though people like you and a lot of other people are already starting to.
I'm not trying to compare them. Like I said, they're different albums. But another thing I do want to say about it was some of the controversy that came up with it, of like how they stole the idea for the album cover from another artist. They also used Freddie Gibbs, and then there was another artist from Toronto. I think he's a rapper that Party had like reached out to, asked him about like the music video he had shot in front of those 2 towers, and then basically like told him that if you don't want to get blackballed, you basically gotta like pay homage to me and like let me use this. And yeah, just I don't know, just again, very sketchy shit on Drake's side that like doesn't help anything.
I think a lot of that has much to do about nothing. Like that second part with the other artists, bigger artists do that all the fucking time, bro. They do that all the time. If it's true, they do that shit all the time. That's the norm.
Stealing like that, just straight up.
I don't think it's stealing. But at the same time, artists like that get inspiration from smaller artists all the time, and that's how the music industry works. If you're not as big as me, buck aside, I'm taking that shit. Like, that's just how it goes. As far as the Gibbs stuff, I mean, I definitely see a little bit of the influence when it comes to using the money signs and the bunnies, but at the same time, it's a little too vague to say that Drake or Party are ripping off of Gibbs. You know, I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Man, oh well, I was actually kind of surprised to hear that because I know how big of a Freddie Gibbs fan you are too. So.
I am, yeah.
But all right, so you're saying that you wouldn't have crashed out if you're a Freddie Gibbs?
It depends. I am a crash out though. Like, I'm a controlled crash out, so maybe that doesn't make me a crash out. Maybe it doesn't make me a crash out.
Are you as big of a crash out as Montoya?
No, but I understand him. Man.
Me too.
Shout out Montoya from Temptation Island, because dog, this is not the show that I've been tapped into ever since I've seen this clip. And for those who don't know, Temptation Island is a reality show. I think it's based in Spain. It's a Spanish reality show.
Yeah.
Where basically couples go on this island, and it's a bunch of, kinky couple swapping and who's cheating on who and can they save this relationship with this person type of shit. And this gentleman, Montoya, is now basically all over the TL because there's a clip of him reacting to his girl absolutely getting drilled, jackrabbit, and him running across the beach doing a 4-4 flat. I'm gonna put some of the still frames up on the screen because I'm pretty sure we can't play the entire
We'll get
video.
copyrighted,
Yeah. But definitely go check it out yourselves. It is hilarious, dog. And Gage, I know you've seen it too. Dog, have you? That's a Crashout Hall of Fame right there. That's first ballot.
Oh God, dude. I was in the boat. I don't watch reality TV, but I was seeing it on my timeline just like everybody else, and I had to see what is going on. Why is this guy yelling? Watch the video, and understandably so, bro. Your girl's getting fucked on in front of millions watching at home, and all you can do is just sit there and watch until he takes matters into his own hands, like you said, takes off like the Flash to go beat that guy's ass. Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious, bro. Everything,
Dog.
like him pulling on his shorts, ripping his clothes off, is such
perfect telenovela. Perfect
love
telenovela,
it, dude. If that's cinema.
I'm not that was cinema.
Like I said, I'm not a reality TV show guy, but I see why people enjoy it.
That was cinema, dog. And them giving him searching the them switching from the big TV to the mini iPad just so he could throw it. Chef's kiss, chef's fucking kiss, and then learning the background for it too. Well, he cheated first, and I'm like, all right, bro. Like, if he cheated first, I understand. And then I saw what the cheat first was, and it was basically him getting a lap dance, and I kept thinking, bro, she took it too far,
way too far.
That's not a logical jump. That's not a logical jump. But then there's also another video of him getting head underwater in the pool, which is fucking crazy, by the way. And if she and he needs to keep her in her life, because if you get a girl to give you head underwater in the pool, yeah, she needs to stay. She cannot go. She cannot ever go. She can't leave. A girl does it to me. We're together for life. For life. Will you not leaving me? You crazy. She don't even value air. Yeah, you on my team. I need you. I'm using the first round pick on you. But then there's another video.
Aquaman might have to come get her, bro.
What? And then there's another video of his shorty getting piped down again, like twice. And I'm trying to figure out the order of events here. Like that's really the focus, because now I'm going to go watch that season from start to finish just so I have a clear picture of it, because that is a Hall of Fame crash out if I've ever seen one. Rightfully so, though. Rightfully so. I'm crashing out just like that.
Absolutely. I was sitting there watching it thinking, like, would I react the same way? And I just kept watching it. And I was like, yeah, probably. Like,
my thing is
getting increasingly more like angry, getting increasingly more crazy. Like,
and at the same time, too, you're also not going to catch me. Like, you're not catching me. I'm making it to that bedroom by hook or by crook. I'm going through that door. I'm going through that window. Whatever it takes, that will happen. And so that was, shout out Montoya, man. That's a crash out worthy of a celebration. Round of applause, man, to him.
Hey, shout out Montoya, man. And we hope everything's all right, you know?
And if not, just make sure you keep that. Make sure you keep Aquawoman. Keep Aquawoman in your life. For sure. She got to stay.
She got gills, bro. Can't.
What? We can't speak. We can't speak, but you understand. You know.
Ah, man. All right, E. Well, I think this has been a good episode. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about before we close it out?
No. I just want to give a little update to the chat here. We will not be uploading a full pod next week or probably the week after, because I will be in Japan. Pardon me. But stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, because we're still going to be dropping videos. Some evergreen videos are going to drop on here. And then on Instagram and TikTok, Gage is going to be doing a bunch of reels and TikTok just to keep stuff up to date while I'm gone. Now I'm going to help out if need be. But yeah, Gage, other than that little service announcement, I'm all good, man. I'm just excited for my trip, man. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. So make sure you guys are following us on socials too. I'm sure Ethan will be posting updates about his trip, doing cool things with our friend Travis.
Yeah, we're going to take big Trav across the world.
Hey, Trav going to Japan. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make the trip. I will be going with y'all the next time y'all are able to go down there.
For sure. Oh, for sure. It's gonna be the last time.
But all right. So again, for the Are We Recording boys, it's been the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton.
Woof woof.
I'm 007 Gage Sutton. Thank y'all so much again for watching the Are We Recording podcast, and we will see y'all in a couple weeks.
Peace.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Peace.